So this week I finally got in the Fenix rail mount for flashlights to put on rifles. It is the ALG-00 flashlight mount, and I tested it out about 200 rounds with the TK32, and it's still working. You can see it still works there. And then I had about 220 rounds with the TK20R here, and it's still working. So that's about 400 rounds through the mount itself, and both flashlights held up well, and I'm pretty happy about that. That way I don't have to go through process of returns, or even worse than a return, having them say, oh well, too bad. And I remembered to take my video camera with me, but I forgot to take it inside. And you know, when you show up to a place about 40 minutes before they close, and you've got 400 rounds you want to go through, you kind of just make do. So I did have my phone, so I was able to get a couple of pictures, so you can have a general idea of how it works, or how well it works anyhow. I did not hook up the pressure switch. I'm not sure how I want to mount it. I've never dealt with a pressure switch before, but it's pretty easy here. This is a angled foregrip, Magpul angled foregrip, and it's pretty easy. Actually, you can just reach up and you get your momentary, or just click. I mean, you could probably just use your knuckles, so you don't even have to. I just left it on, and I mean, I tried a couple of times on and off just to make sure I could do it, but it's pretty easy way to go about it. Of course, with this one, the difference is you have to reach up. So if it's right there, you know, you got your switch here, and then you'd have to reach up, or like that, to change modes. But both actually worked out very well, and I'll go ahead and add the pictures to the end of this so that you can still see and have a general idea of how well it worked out. The range I was at was indoor, and it was fairly well lighted. So even with that 1000 lumens flash, these lights are both made to be a little bit of a throwing flashlight. So it was still lighting up a green colored silhouette target quite a bit. And I made sure I used the colors. The colors didn't show up very well because there was so much light in the range itself. But you can see a little bit of a tint, so you can see that it's actually hitting it. But realistically, if you're in a place that's as well lit as I was, you're not going to need a flashlight or weapon light or anything else. There's enough light to do everything you need to do. But the important part is that both lights held up. There was no problem with function, no cutting out, no stuttering, flickering, dimming, nothing. They both performed flawlessly. One with 200 rounds and one with 220 rounds, I think it was. Yeah, 220 rounds, and the other one was 200. So will it last thousands and thousands of rounds if you're some sort of tactical operator? Well, I can't say that, but I know if you're doing light shooting, or you just want something to put on a rifle for your house, because there's people that do that, these will hold up. That I do know. And the mount is, I didn't even take the mount off when I changed lights. I just unscrewed it and then put the other light in. It's just a simple pinch. It would be easier if it pinched out like this direction, but it doesn't. It pinches down that way, and that's how you do it. And on my rails, I couldn't get it off from the front side, so it held securely on there, and it feels like there's a bit of give on it if you just, I mean, you can see it moves a little bit, but it didn't come off. It's just because it's clamped instead of screwed into the rail sections. And alright. Oh, well, that's why I'm having trouble with it now, is because when I put it on, I didn't have the light with the giant head in there. And I actually forgot the little Allen wrench that came with it, but fortunately I had a multi-tool with a bit kit in there, and the Allen wrench head, one of the Allen wrench heads I had in the bit kit just happened to be big enough for this, so that kind of saved the day. Otherwise I would have had to make a second trip just to try out the second light, and that would have been a little bit of a downer. But see if I can get this off real quick. So that's, the lights slide in and out that easily. But so it's not extremely difficult to put on. are off, the rail mount here, it does take a little bit of oomph, but so these are the things I was pressing on right there, and you can see you do that, it just kind of releases, and then when you release the pinches, that's what puts the pressure out and holds it in place. It clamps down with just a single screw, just a single Allen head screw there. There are rubber pads on the inside, and they've got like some raised dots there instead of actual texturing. But they held the light. The light didn't slip around. Either one did. I don't know how much of a difference it made, but I did make sure that it was clamped at least mostly on the knurling here, so that may have helped a bit. It's even smooth rubber probably would have held it fairly well, but I think the knobs on the knurling helped out a bit. Like I said, it performed flawlessly. Either one of these lights, TK32, TK20R, they both perform very well as flashlights and also apparently as weapon lights. The mount performed without any problem or exception. There's no cracks, it's not loose or anything now. So comparatively, for what you'd pay for Streamlight or Surefire to get the same output and same variations in output, especially once you start going to multiple colored LEDs, the cost is, I know everybody wants to buy Made in America, and I'm with you, but these performed at least as well, and both lights are entirely submersible in water, and they have different modes, and more than 2 modes even. And the TK20R even has a strobe on it. 32 does not have a strobe. Both have momentary on or constant on, and Fenix does sell their pressure switch that will work with either light. So this just replaces the tail cap, and then the pictures I'll put at the end will show the function. This is your momentary or constant. Momentary, you know, just hold it down and then click it. It's a pretty quiet click, almost totally silent, but you can have your constant on or momentary on. The secondary switch on a TK20R didn't do anything because the mode selection is up here, but on a 32 the secondary switch did allow to go to the red and green modes too. So I would think it would work for any Fenix light that has 2 tail switches. I think the I think it was the 15 was another one that had 2 tail switches on it. So similar to that design. I think it's actually the same design really, but I haven't handled that light. So I didn't hook that up because I don't know how I want to mount it. I may end up just not using it at all. But if it's available, if you want it, it's available. I've seen people mount them up on their rails, and then other people will mount them on the side of the grip. And another one I saw was people had a vertical foregrip, and they would mount it just either inner tubes, like bicycle inner tubes, or electrical tape, or duct tape, and just kind of tape it down to that. People really seem to be fond of their inner tubes. From what I was reading online, I haven't tried it myself. I have no idea how well it works. But yeah, great products. I'll go ahead and get those pictures put on the end of this right after I'm done talking. And I got a couple pictures afterwards so you can see that the barrel is smoking. I was shooting a lot and pretty quickly trying to get out of there before closing. And so you can see that the light is working right after the gun has been fired. Sorry I forgot my video camera, but that's the best I can do for you guys.